Hello everybody and welcome to another KO Megatron review. This is the last one, I promise. This is the Destruction MAGTEN. Destruction of the Great 100%. This is the original sound 100% as well. It's a plain white box with this kind of nice looking sleeve on it. And if we just spin it around, we've got 100% of the Great Destruction on the back there. We've got a Decepticon logo. This is basically a kind of repaint. They're basically taking the best bits of all the KOs and shoved them all into one big shiny lump. And much like those other releases, he comes in a nice 3-part clamshell. Now, in addition to all of those original pieces that we got with the MP36, including the instruction manual and card, we also get this stand, which is designed to be used when you're storing him in gun mode. This will support the silencer and hold everything upright. It's a nice little idea. It's just a 2-part clear translucent stand. We get the G1 toy style hairy chest plate. This one's got the nice Decepticon logo on there. It's a nice fat logo, very similar to the animation. I like these. It's a very nice silver on these. Again, with the face, it is pretty much identical to the one that we got with the Toy House Factory, which I will show you when I do the comparisons. And we also get the Mega Smirk. He just looks evil in there, but like I said, these are all done in this kind of premium paint scheme. And here he is out of his plastic prison. He looks very nice indeed. They've gone for the kind of off-white, kind of peachy look for all of the skin tones. It's just not the same as the others. There's definitely a tinge of kind of cream to those. Some of them have slight imperfections. If you look really closely there's a little bit of overspray on the eyes, but all in all they are exceptionally well done. Really nice blackened out mouths on these. We come to the damaged chest. It's silver on both sides. Nice deep cuts and cracks on there, and again we have a Decepticon logo. Key to Vector Sigma, much the same, although it is apparently a little bit darker. Nice hilt on the sword, again very kind of anime accurate colours. We get the helmet, again much the same, nice paint applications throughout. And we get his mace accessory, extension and pistol as well. And then of course we get the accessories such as the scope and the stock. Here we have my 3 MP Megatrons that have survived the cull. This is the Toy House Factory one. This is the Infinite Transformations one, and of course we have the MAGTEN in the center there. You can see the difference in paint applications as well. This guy here is going to be my new toy inspired Megatron. He's got the additional red outlines around this section here. We've got the red on the inside of the leg, and I can't believe they are the first ones to give us the red inner legs. Really nice dark outer leg sections as well. MAGTEN has this much more kind of coppery feel throughout the entire figure. Just comparing the shades of silver there's definitely a coppery tinge, but those legs, those are fantastic, gorgeously done. Now apparently there are some mold differences. It's hard to pinpoint exactly, but I mean, even just looking at all 3 versions of Megatron, they all have this different section behind the head. This one has additional peg holes. This one again is different. They all have their pros and cons. This one is just a good looking Megatron. He's kind of got that polygon colouring, I guess, but done with the MP36 body, and I really like what they've done. And to give him that G1 toy vibe, again, it's exactly the same by plugging and unplugging the head, although these are exceptionally tight. They really need a tough push to get those in, but I mean, I think it's exactly the same head sculpt, only done with this cream face. We just pop the chest up and then slide the new one over. Like so. There we have the kind of G1 toy chest, and then we can take off my crotch piece, which is 3D printed. I've included a link in the description below, and we can just bring the crotch piece up and over, and that's just held on with friction. And here he is with that custom trigger doing his very best G1 toy impression. I intend to have the IT one done as my animation accurate Megatron. I am in discussions with my friend Hair of the Dog, and he is making up the blue inner legs with the black helmet and the black stock for the gun, turning him into Marvel Comics Megatron. So Toy House Factory will adopt that look, and this will be my toy version of Megatron. So I'll have 3, but they should, in theory, once finished, look completely different. Right now, why should you pick this over the Infinite Transformation Megatron? Personally, I don't know if you should. Yes, you get the actual labels. I think, don't quote me on this, but I think these may actually be like the official Megatrons, but kind of customized. I'm not entirely sure, but articulation wise, the head can look up and down, we can go left and right and tilt side to side, as well as tilt up and downwards fully. Arms can go round, up and down on lovely, very strong ratchets. Upper bicep rotation, nice double jointed bend at the elbow there, rotation on the wrist, and we have these fingers pinned with the additional pin in the middle there, and we have a third point of articulation on that trigger finger. Coming around to the back here, if we just move this back to how it should be, this backpack section here is a little bit looser than I would have liked. I thought maybe they would have included some sort of tab which could hold this in place. Unfortunately, that is not the case. This again has a really nice sheen to it. We do have that waist swivel. We don't have the abdominal crunch. I think, like the IT Megatron, it is locked into place. Coming down to the legs, we have the hip skirts to the front. Again, not very much resistance on there. As you can see, these legs are tabbed in at the center. Legs can come forwards, backwards, out to the side on the friction, upper thigh rotation, nice bend at that knee, and the feet up and down, and we can pivot side to side, but we don't have any left and right rotation. Now I've just taken all of this up just so you can see what I mean by the waist joint. It is just meant to rotate here, but like with the Infinite Transformation one, this one is locked into place. As you can see, it curves in there. If we bring in the Toy House Factory, you can see this joint here. This moves up quite freely, and then you can move the joint across, and it doesn't lock into place when it gets to this point. This one, on the other hand, much like the Toy House Factory, you have to apply pressure to the base of the joint and give that a fairly forceful tug. It's just the first couple of times it is nigh on impossible to get up, but once it's up, basically all it does is you push it down and it locks, and then you have to pull it back out again. This one isn't actually locked in. This one is just exceptionally tight. There's nothing for it to plug in and lock into. Whereas the infinite transformation Megatron, here's one, physically locks into place. There's a nubbin just here, and that squeezes in, and you can hear it noticeably lock. Our first real fault I've found with this when I'm transforming him up, that pin is incredibly loose. I can't see that coming off anywhere. There's a lot of die cast in there though, and it shouldn't be that loose. Transformation had no real complications. Feels much the same as the other Megatrons. Doesn't hold together quite as nicely as the infinite transformation Megatron. That one is still my go-to Megatron. I also love the silencer. Just seems it appears to be a little bit more bent on this one. I don't know what I've done wrong there, but spring doesn't quite spring back as nicely, but it does look rather clean and tidy. We can bring in the stock and the silencer and just push and attach that in. Fully extend and bring in the scope, and there we go. There is Megatron MAGTEN in all of his might. And then I guess this is designed to kind of hold it up somewhere. Sure, that'll do. That'll do as good as anywhere. Okay, so it's not without its flaws, but it's definitely not the worst version of Megatron out there. I still rate it higher than the official, miles higher than the KO of the official. I think this is pretty much on par with the Toy House Factory, just leaps slightly further in front of it, just due to that lovely paint scheme and those red inner legs. They really do it for me. Adding those alongside the nice tight articulation and the difference in paint on the faces, etc., makes this a very good figure, second only to infinite transformation. And last but not least, I love the sound bites on this, starting with the English. There we go. There's not a great deal, but there's enough. Next down we have and then finally done in the red LED. So I mean, it's quite tinny in comparison to, say, the Toy House Factory one.
I'll rip you apart with my bare hands. Peace through tyranny. Constructed hands. Annihilate them. Earth has pinned its final hope on you. Pathetic. What kept you? You're welcome to try.
I thought that was one of the best things that the Toy House Factory version had going for it, was the sound chip. It is incredibly well done. So again, this isn't one of the strongest points, but it's dependent on what you want from your toy. If you want a very kind of clean, good looking figure which doubles up as a very good nod to the original toy, then I think this could be the one for you. If you want kind of best of both worlds, then Toy House Factory is there, and if you want that animation accuracy, then I highly recommend the Infinite Transformation. I've included a link up here to the playlist for all of my different Megatron reviews, and thanks again to TF Direct for making this review possible. I've included a link in the description below, and until next time, from myself and MAGTEN, thanks for watching, goodbye.